presentation of the Oregon Sports Network.
And Oregon is going to play in the national championship game.
Big Ten champions. Big Ten champs.
National champions, yes.
Oklahoma City bound the Oregon Ducks.
Awesome day to be a Duck, man.
Boom inside. Touchdown Oregon. He gets loose. Fires. Hits. Pops the three. Oh, yeah. It's all Oregon.
This is Duck Insider. Duck Insider.
It's about how to be a group of people that know how to love each other to the absolute fullest.
Pleasure, joy to be with them each and every day. And I can't wait for the future.
It's just fun to be a part of a community that cares, that is passionate, and when we come together, powerful things can happen.
This is Duck Insider on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield, presented by OnPoint Community Credit Union. People are the point. Now let's go live to the Country Financial Studio to talk Oregon Duck athletics.
Oh, what a night! 2 Diamond Sport wins against the Beavers. Oregon baseball's won 7 of the last 8 against Oregon State. Ducks won 7-3 last night. And Oregon softball's Elise Sokolsky was outstanding at the Jane. Oregon softball sweeping the Beavers in the season series this weekend. Double Diamond Duck dubs. You love to see it. Well done, Oregon baseball and Oregon softball. NFL draft today. Hope to hear a lot of Oregon names called. I have a feeling you're going to hear the likes of Kenyon Sadiq, Dylan Thieneman, and maybe, who knows, a few other guys could go in the first round depending on the needs of teams and trades and what happens. The NFL draft, though, is such an awesome event because it's so amazing every time you see the emotion because of the culmination of the work that goes into getting to that moment. Like, I don't know that I've ever seen more aggressive hugs than you see on the stage of the NFL draft. You know, like, these are very strong individuals. And I often wonder if Roger Goodell's back cracks like 1,000 times over the course of the evening. Like, do you think his hand is like bruised from all of like the hugs? Big night ahead for a lot of individuals. In all seriousness, though, best of luck to the Ducks tonight. A lot of Oregon players hoping to hear that big call that they're going to a team and then to hear their name called. Pretty special here for the NFL draft, which begins tonight. The spring game is on the horizon. A very busy Saturday around the Oregon Athletics Complex. 10 a.m., the parking lots will open. Valley River Center shuttles will begin. The pregame Fan Fest is underway from 10 a.m. all the way until postgame 4 p.m. because it's pregame really for Oregon baseball as well. It'll be at Autzen Stadium and in the PK Plaza. Gates to Autzen open at 11:30. Be in your seats by 12:50 because there will be an F-15 flyover that accompanies the national anthem. The Oregon football spring game set for 1 o'clock. The Autzen Stadium North box office will open at 2 because the PK Park gates will open at 2:30. Jane Sanders Stadium opens at 3. Oregon baseball against Penn State at 4 o'clock and Oregon softball against Ohio State at Jane Sanders Stadium if you want to make the walk across the river on a beautiful day. It's supposed to be sunny and 70 at kickoff. Going to be a great day around the spring game. It will again feature a military appreciation theme, so you'll see a number of activations with different military equipment and just a lot of recognition around Autzen Stadium. Really fun. And if you have not yet done so, limited parking passes still remain. Go to GoDucks.com, click on that spring game info page, and get your parking pass. Any other details that you're after for the spring game, GoDucks.com has you covered. Oregon baseball last night. Good baseball teams take advantage of mistakes. Beavers committed 3 errors, and I will give credit where credit is due. Oregon State had only committed 18 errors coming into this game. Like a .987 fielding percentage, one of the better marks in the country. Beavs commit 3 errors last night. Ducks capitalized. They took advantage. 4 unearned runs come across. Beavers scored some garbage runs in the 9th inning. A solo home run from Easton Talt to start the game for Oregon State. And I'll be honest, sitting there in the broadcast position, I was like, okay, game where you figure you're going to see a lot of Oregon pitchers. Easton Talt made a mistake pay early. It was 1-0 Beavers for a long time before the Ducks put 3 across in the 6th. But then it's amazing how certain little moments can become so huge in a baseball game. The first 2 batters to the plate for the Beavers both got hits. The one, Easton Talt hit over the fence. Then Oregon's able to wiggle out of a jam with a double play. Cooper Strawn worked the double play in the first inning. That ended up proving really valuable for the Ducks. Because, again, after 10 pitchers pitch against the Beavs, Oregon staff kept them off balance. Ducks scored 3 runs in the 6th, 2 in the 7th, 2 more in the 9th. Oregon took advantage of some mistakes. I thought Berkeley Mabius was exceptionally productive for the Ducks, and he deserves a shout-out. Had 5-plus plate appearances, couple of walks, a double, a successful sacrifice. The 2 runs that he sacrificed into scoring position eventually came in to score. That's from your number 7 hitter. Then your number 8 hitter, Junior Lawaki. He struck out on 6 pitches in 2 at-bats. So he struck out twice on 6 pitches in his first 2 at-bats. Then what does he do? He doubles later in the game, scores 2. Junior Lawaki stays hot. He talked with Todd Miles postgame.
Junior, big hit when you needed it. Just take me through that AB and how it felt.
Yeah, earlier in the game, kind of not myself. 2 negative at-bats, but my third one where I was made an adjustment turned into a positive one. Coming into that 4th one, same mindset as my 3rd one, and then he threw me inside and got my hands through it, and then froze the first baseman.
Made the adjustment. Didn't feel like himself in the first 2 at-bats. Comes through, knocks in 2 for the Ducks. That's your number 8 hitter for Oregon. And then Jax Jimenez, who has been the leadoff guy for Oregon of late, has been excellent. Now 8 games where the Ducks have retooled that batting order. Jax Jimenez has done a nice job at the top of that order. You'll like what he said postgame.
All right, Jax, you're kind of a spark plug all day long. Just your thoughts on the game and coming away with the W.
Yeah, we talk about winning ugly. Maybe it wasn't our best performance offensively, but there's got to be a toughness in this group, and which there is, to kind of pull one out regardless of how it's going. I think those late innings embodied kind of all of that. Some walks and hit by pitches, a lot of free bases for us to get on base, and guys coming up big time with some knocks. Junior there at the end, and then pitching staff kept us in that whole one. But I think that's what you want to see from our offense. When you're not having the day you want to have at the plate, you show some toughness and will it out anyway.
What an answer. That's how you win a game. You win 7-3 on the road against your rival, the number 6 team in the country. Ducks are number 19. If I was on the committee, I'd probably say that Oregon should host a regional instead of Oregon State, if it was to come down between the 2 of them. Now, I know the Beavers won the game in March. It was 10-6. Ducks won this game 7-3. The road team won in each iteration of the rivalry series. But again, the Ducks have won 7 of the last 8 against the Beavers. In the Mark Wasikowski era, remember, he and Mitch Canham started as head coaches of these respective programs the same year. So you think there's going to be some comparisons between the 2 coaches and the 2 programs? Both are now in their 7th year. You know what the record is in the Mark Wasikowski and Mitch Canham era? 13-12 in favor of the Ducks. Ducks won their 13th game in the Mark Wasikowski era against the Beavers. Rivalries are supposed to be back and forth to an extent, right? Mark Wasikowski said it on the Toyota Coaches Corner when I talked to him pregame yesterday. These are 2 of the best teams on the West Coast, and they're 45 minutes away from each other in the state of Oregon. 2 of the best teams in the country, 45 minutes away from each other in the state of Oregon. And yes, you want to win every rivalry game. I get that. Certainly there's some fuel, though, that comes with a competitive series like this has been. Oregon's got a winning record. Lucky number 13 last night in the Mark Wasikowski era. Ducks are 13-12 in the last 7 years against the Beavers. Trending in the right direction, winning 7 of the last 8 against Oregon State. When we come back, Oregon softball really impressive against Oregon State last night. The guy who called it is here in the studio. We're coming back after this on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
As a local community credit union founded by teachers, OnPoint is committed to supporting the students and faculty at the University of Oregon. And on game day, we're right there with you, on the field, in the bleachers, and in the classrooms. Drop by one of your local branches today and discover the many ways OnPoint can help support your financial well-being. OnPoint Community Credit Union. People are the point. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal housing opportunity.
Dear Friday, Toyota says let's put good times in gear with the Tundra, Tacoma, and 4Runner. Want some cool available we've got power tailgates to power game days and a trailer backup guide that's the champ of the ramp. Heck, we might even cancel Monday. Toyota Trucks. Find yours at Toyota.com. Toyota. Let's go places.
This is Duck Insider, presented by OnPoint Community Credit Union on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
My name is Teresa Barber. I was in the United States Navy, and I served overseas in the Middle East and Africa. Early on in my career, I had a commander that taught our suicide prevention training, and the very next day, he took his own life. 90% of suicide attempts involving a gun are fatal. My way of continuing my service is to help protect my community by being a responsible gun owner and by storing firearms safely. Store all your guns securely. Help stop suicide.
Brought to you by End Family Fire and the Ad Council.
This message is for Shauna, my mom who just finished her high school diploma. I wanted to say I'm so proud of you for finishing school. You told me it's never too late to achieve your dreams. I hope to make you as proud as you have made me.
When you graduate, they graduate. Finish your high school diploma for you and for them. Visit finishyourdiploma.org to find free and supportive adult education centers near you. Brought to you by the Dollar General Literacy Foundation and the Ad Council.
Back on Duck Insider, presented by OnPoint Community Credit Union. Joey Mack in the Country Financial Studio. Oregon baseball with a rivalry win. Oregon softball with a rivalry win. Elise Sokolsky, a complete game 7-hitter. Number 12, Oregon, 12 straight wins. 7-2 decision against Oregon State at the Jane. The Ducks swept the 2026 series against the Beavs. Sokolsky struck out 7, walked none, allowed 2 runs, both of which were unearned. I know that Coach Lombardi would tell you defense wins championships. In her longest outing since a complete game win in Oregon State on April 2nd of 2025. That says a lot about Elise Sokolsky. Missy Lombardi and I talked about this earlier this week. The Ducks are going to need Elise Sokolsky. You need to have that second option behind Lindsey Grine. Seems like the Ducks have that as she has gotten healthier. The Ducks are now 36-9, 7 runs on 11 hits, a homer and a double by Elon Butler, a triple from Amari Harper and Ayanna Shaw, doubles by Emma Cox and Stephanie Make. The extra base hit continues to be a valuable weapon for Oregon softball. All right, before we talk to Sowell, record watch. That was Elon Butler's 17th double of the season. Tied her with Kedri Lushar and 2 others for second on the Oregon single-season list. Just one back of Missy Coe, who holds the record for a single season at 18. She set it in 1999. Elon Butler may very well break that record here coming up this weekend. Shaw's second inning triple was her 7th of the season. Tied for second in program history with Kathy Stahl, 1995. And she's 1 triple behind Janie Takeda's school record of 8 that was set in 2014. Might see 2 records fall potentially this weekend. The guy who was at the Jane on the call for KWVA, the voice of Oregon softball, Sowell Galvan, is directing Duck Insider today. Did I miss anything? What else happened at the Jane?
You got it all. I think you got everything.
That was it?
That was it.
You have nothing else to add?
Beat the Beavers.
Beat the Beavers!
Beat the Beavers!
Oh,
man, it was fun, I got to say. I think that, you talk about momentum as well, and I think that yesterday gave them a lot of momentum. And you mentioned it too, Sokolsky, she's going to be a big factor down the home stretch of the season. Ducks really needed to get one of their best pitchers back, and I think yesterday you really felt what she can do in the circle when she gets her confidence.
Senior weekend ahead at the Jane, and I will tell Sowell Galvan the same thing that Missy Lombardi's telling her team, which is not planning that this is the last time you're at the Jane, so no senior ceremony for you, right?
Nope. We're expecting me back.
There you go.
I'm expecting to not travel after Maryland.
The number 12 team in the polls, but sitting at what in the RPI now? 7? 8.
So right on the cusp. They can hold it right there. Playoff softball at the Jane up until Oklahoma.
It'd be nice to have 2 rounds at the Jane. Sowell Galvan on the call for KWVA, the hometown call with Oregon softball all season long. Missy Lombardi sat down with the media post-game, and I think she will tell you defense wins championships in her own way. Coach Lombardi, always brought to you by the White Valley Cancer Institute and Research Center. Better cancer care close to home. Coach Lombardi after the Ducks beat the Beavs.
So to have Elise start it and then finish it, go to 7 innings, you guys kind of save everybody for the weekend. I mean, how big is that for her to go out there after what you guys saw to her this past weekend and just go the complete distance to finish it out?
think it was great for her to have a complete game. I loved what she did this past weekend. You could see her ball just really move, and I thought she's a really good matchup. I really liked how she moved up and down, and her change of speed was really good.
Oregon State was able to put runners on base, and it feels like every time you play them, there's always traffic, but that the pitchers are always able to shut it down after that. What is it you see from her, at least out there, just first 4 innings they have runners on base, and she doesn't let any of them get across?
I think exactly what she said, just each pitch has a life of its own, and to let the last pitch go and get locked in. There was an inning where was it? There was an inning where she had the leadoff on, and then she shut down the side with 3 strikeouts, which I thought was really impressive. I just think her ball's moving. I think she's really confident in what she's doing, and you could just see her and our offense just kind of feeding back and forth.
You talk about confidence. How confident is your team going forward, especially here at home, playing against some of the teams as you get closer to the postseason? Kind of gearing up for that.
Yeah, they love to play here. Love it. Like, we have such a great environment. Even tonight, it's a midweek game, and the crowd that we had, I thought was really, really good. We love to play at home and play in front of our fans. I think our team is just they're in a really good place right now. They're getting hot at the right time, peaking at the right time. You could, another standout today for me was Riley. I thought Riley was really, really good. She had 2 base hits with an RBI today, and so you could just see just how much these guys are passing bats. We're not having to maybe just have a couple do it. You could see the entire team is taking on strain, which I think is really important right now.
You talked about the midweek game, how the team needed to come out and really get going. They started out really well. There's a little bit of a lull. But could you speak to the overall mindset of the team being able to continue on through that lull and get the offense going again later on?
I think this team's a really mature team. They understand how important every single game is and how to go about it, and so I appreciate that from them. So we scored some runs early, and then we had a couple opportunities to score, and we didn't get the runs through. But then what I love is how kind of bookend the game a little bit. We got some runs early and then finished. I thought Elon getting that last one was great. It just I thought it made a huge difference going into the final inning. Loved how we had a shutdown inning in the 7th, and just finishing on that high pop-up. Those are tough, and Riley handled that like it was nothing, so it was good.
Just thinking about where your team was at the first time you played Oregon State until now, it seems like a lot of your lineup is finding some consistency. How important will that consistency be as you enter the back half of the Big Ten season and into the postseason?
Definitely can see that. We were talking about that earlier today, about just how different we look right now compared to when we faced them earlier in the year. I feel this team has grown so much. Our lineup has changed a lot. And I just think we have solidified ourselves. That's, I would say, the best way to describe it. On the mound, on defense, and at the plate. I think we've just solidified that and are in a really good spot.
You talked about the seniors after the Washington series and kind of the role that they played in making sure that you guys didn't just win the series, but you swept the series. Just how important will their also leadership be as you enter the next half of the Big Ten play, and how will they be able to lead the team in that growth to continue to grow into the postseason?
Yeah, I think the leadership piece, that's something that was missing early on, and it's just something. I don't even think it's anybody's. It's not anybody's fault. It's just something that we had to grow into, and really seeing our leaders step up with our elders, but then even our sophomore class, I really like what they're doing as well. Just think they understand how to go out there and fight together, and I think that's something we just needed time to figure out early in the year. So again, I think we're just in a really good spot.
Even for a game tonight that doesn't count towards the conference standings, just what is the momentum here, just continuing to build that 12-game winning streak now as you head towards these last couple of weeks?
These guys have been winning, and they don't want to lose. For that's a rivalry game. We won 2, we want the sweep. Again, we don't want the series, we want the sweep. And so to see them come in and go get the sweep, what I like is things that they're talking about and what they want to accomplish, and then they are setting their minds to it, and they're going out and they're getting it. So this was great. I thought this was a big test for us to see how we were going to handle it in a lot of different ways, and I thought they crushed it.
That was Elise's first time out of the 5th inning this year, and she pushed all the way through the end. What does it mean for her to just completely break that trend?
I think she's just in a good place. I think she was struggling a little bit, had a kind of an injury that she's working on early in the year, and I just feel her very strong physically, mentally. Like, I think she's just in a great spot right now. These seniors, this is it, And so to me, they want to go out on their terms. They want to do things their way. There's just still so much to do, and you could just feel that from her. She's a competitor, and I love how her ball's moving, and I just love her change of speed is so good, and I think that's like really important for her, and you could see that. I thought she threw that really well tonight.
How would you grade Dante Moore's first pitch?
You know what? I thought Dante did an excellent job. I was giving him a hard time before the game. I'm like, let's go. Like, don't just kinda. And he's like, I won't, coach. I got you. And he didn't. I thought he threw a great strike. I loved how he came out. I loved how Coach Lanny came out for Shout. So you could just see, like, our student athletes, our community, and even our coaches, we all got each other, all very, very supportive of each other. So I thought that was pretty cool tonight. And the duck was here. So how about that?
Dan Lanning led a pretty good rendition of Shout. You think it's on, like, the job description for every head coach that they have to be able to start Shout? I feel like every head coach does it at some point. Dan Lanning did a great job at the Jane with that last night. We've been talking about Elise Sokolski as we continue on Duck Insider and what her value can be for Oregon moving forward, the way that she performed in a complete game in the circle for the Ducks last night. Elise Sokolski, postgame.
You got some reps in, obviously, Saturday and Sunday, but to get out there and kind of make that first start in over a couple of weeks, just, what was kind of working well and how did it feel to be back out there?
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. I think just to be able to come in today and take strain for the rest of the pitching staff was huge. I know Lindsay's been taking on a lot of strain for me, so I really wanted to be able to come in and do that for her today. And it was really great just to see that our defense work well today. I felt them behind me the entire game, so it was easy to pitch whenever I know they're going to have my back.
That fourth inning, you give up the leadoff single, and then you come right back with 3 straight strikeouts. It really felt you were just getting into your groove at that point. Just what was the attitude for you in the circle at that point?
Yeah, I know my offense, they've been fighting for me all game, so just to be able to go out there and really, shut it down for them so that they can get back out on offense and score some runs.
Your resilience, you had a few miscues, but your ability to kind of flush that bounce back. Can you just speak to the mindset that you have as a senior, being able to bounce back from things and always get better?
Yeah, one thing we like to talk about is just doing it one pitch at a time. Each pitch has its own life, and it passes and it goes by. So whenever something that doesn't go our way happens, I like to leave it behind, and the next pitch is something entirely new. So I really just try to focus on that mentality so that I can keep moving forward.
First time you go a full 7 since against this Oregon State team just over a year ago. Just what does it mean for you, especially coming back from an injury, to go this complete game tonight and have that trust from Missy to just leave you out there for that 6th, 7th inning?
Yeah. Once again, I think it was awesome just to be able to help take on that strain since my pitching staff's been taking on strain for me earlier in the season. So that was a huge motivator for me. But it's always fun to be able to pitch in a rivalry game. Got to play Oregon State, so it's super fun. Yeah.
What's it like being able to perform like this midweek? This is kind of that anomalous game where it's not, scheduled thing. The schedule in general is kind of off. But you were able to perform so well in spite of all of that.
Yeah, I think it's just once again, going back to that rivalry game. I wouldn't be able to have my team's back for that. So just be able to go out there and do what I needed to do.
Elise Sokolski, I think a real X factor for Oregon down the stretch. If you have her and Lindsey Grine, Ducks are going to be really, really tough to beat. Here's hoping for a lot more games at the Jane. Senior weekend is upcoming. First pitch tomorrow at the Jane. What time, Sol? 6 o'clock at the Jane. Sol Galvan's got pregame on KWVA at 5:30. Half-hour pregame show from the Jane. Let's go. Oregon baseball also in action at 6 o'clock tomorrow. We'll tell you a little bit more about that. But a timeout when we return, talking a little football. Let's go into the trenches with Alik Terry in the offensive line. Keep it here on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
As a local community credit union founded by teachers, OnPoint is committed to supporting the students and faculty at the University of Oregon. And on game day, we're right there with you, on the field, in the bleachers, and in the classrooms. Drop by one of your local branches today and discover the many ways OnPoint can help support your financial well-being. OnPoint Community Credit Union. People are the point. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal housing opportunity.
When life blindsides you with an injury, You need a team that's tough. For over 30 years, Morgan & Morgan has been fighting for the people. This season, we're proud to partner with Oregon Athletics. Because whether it's on the field or in the courtroom, we're both determined to do what it takes to win. Morgan & Morgan, proud partner of Oregon Athletics. Injured? Dial pound law. Morgan & Morgan, 10150 Southwest 6th Avenue, Portland. Prior results do not guarantee a similar outcome.
More Duck Insider coming up on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Don't act like that. Don't wear that. Don't think that. I've heard everything you tell yourself every time you felt different. And I want you to know that you can be vulnerable and powerful. That taking care of your mind is taking care of everyone you love and who loves you. Love your mind. Find mental health resources at loveyourmindtoday.org. Brought to you by the Huntsman Mental Health Institute and the Ad Council.
I'm a pretty great multitasker. I can wash dishes and do laundry. I can roller skate while walking my dog. I can even order lunch while doing my homework. But I can't use my phone while driving. A distracted driver is one of the leading causes of death in the United States. So when it comes to driving, please, don't be a multitasker.
Don't drive distracted. A message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, and the Ad Council.
Duck Insider presented by OnPoint Community Credit Union. Joey Mack in the Country Financial Studio. Oregon Beach Volleyball fell yesterday to Washington, which set up an elimination matchup this morning in the MPSF Championship. Ducks lost to 13th-ranked LSU this morning. That brings the season to an end, 17-18 overall, as the Ducks continue to build the beach volleyball program. First year now under head coach Christian Cold. The Ducks set a program record for single-season wins with 17, had 2 wins over ranked teams, and saw 5 pairs finish with double-digit victories. That program's also getting a new home, a new facility as part of the Hamilton Hall renovation project on campus. Beach volleyball facility right across from the Jakewood near Matthew Knight Arena. Really excited for the trajectory of this program under Christian Cold and his staff. Men's tennis lost to Indiana in the Big Ten tournament yesterday, probably bringing the men's tennis season to an end as well. Ducks hit a gauntlet of the schedule down the stretch, dealt with a little bit of an injury to one of their better players down the stretch as well. They lost to Indiana in the Big Ten tournament yesterday. Oregon football spring game set for 1 o'clock at Autzen Stadium. Festivities begin around the Autzen complex at 10 a.m. on Saturday. Going into the trenches. I know my eyes will be looking in the trenches along that offensive line. Ducks bring back a lot of weapons on offense. They bring back the anchor in the middle of the offensive line in Pancho Lalulu. But we all know that protecting at the guard and the tackle positions, protecting Dante Moore, a critical factor. Alik Terry, position coach along the offensive line. Let's talk to the head of the law firm.
It's never easy replacing 2 tackles. You guys didn't go to the portal this year. You stayed in-house. What was it about these guys in this room that you feel like you could develop and have the right guys there?
It's about time for those guys to it's their chance now. We've had a great group of tackles the last few years that we've taken in these classes with the Fox Craters, with the Zaire Addisons, with the Zach Siskowskis. We had a ton of guys. We eval really well. So the last 2 years, they were a little young, so we're like, let's take some portal guys who are 1-year guys, so that gives them still another 9 to 12 months to develop, and now it's starting to pay dividends, right? There's a lot of trust in these guys. Obviously, Fox got opportunity last year versus USC, and when these guys show up for the opportunities, they make the most of it. So it's just true confidence in these guys of the last few off seasons working with Wilson Love and getting bigger, faster, stronger, working with the law firm, obviously getting better in their skill set, but now there's a true confidence not only from the coaching staff, but it's their teammates as well that they can get the job done.
I guess, where does that brought out from this room where there's a bunch of open spots, a bunch of young guys who maybe haven't proven it on Saturdays? What does this spring look like just collectively, you think?
It's been competitive as ever. We literally just said that right now when we just left off the field right now. And it was cool because Dave is watching and he's like, man, Trent's getting better. And I'm like, all right, now I hope everybody pays attention to that, right? He's an older guy going on his 5th year. One, he's appreciative of a guy who's playing almost the same position as him, appreciating the work that he's starting to build up and start to have. But then also, there's an appreciation for that, even though he's competing with that guy. He still loves the fact that he's getting better every single day. There's a culture amongst our room that's really elite, and I love it because it allows everybody to play at the highest level, and it brings out a competitive energy every single day because we say there's 5 open spots, right? You would think in your mind Poncho is the starting center, obviously, because he's an elite player, but there's young centers behind Poncho that's attacking and working every day to hopefully be in that position as well. So, good and well, we'll play the best 5 as humanly possible. So all these guys are putting their best foot forward for that.
You guys did bring in a transfer, Michael Bennett. Why him? What does he bring to the table, and how's he doing, and what are your expectations?
It was great to get Mikey because Mikey, one, is going to have some position flexibility, right, some position versatility. But if you turn on this film at right tackle at Yale, you can see a consistent, violent player. Right, there were some things you see, like when you watched the Johnny Cornelius, when you watched Harkey, when you watched Rural, when you watched Pregnon, there's things and there's certain traits that you're like, oh, I know we can build on that. We can build on that. Mikey was a right tackle at Yale, played smart football, consistent football, but he played with a ton of technique. And I think that was something that was real, clear on his film, because a lot of guys, especially at other places, may play with different technique and fundamentals and that kind of stuff. It looked like he was playing in our system just with a different jersey on. So as a coach, a lot of the things that we communicate and talk about could translate well, let alone, I'm always thinking about position flex. I know if we needed to move him at a different position, he'd have some of that same value. But as a tackle, man, he's been playing really consistent ball for us. He's been a bright spot for us this spring, too, as well.
You mentioned the law firm. You had a couple guys get promotions and get rooms elsewhere. You brought in some people, Mike being one of them, an old member of that group. What's that room look like? What's that dynamic look like? And just what's your perspective of the guys helping you out right now?
It's great, man. Salute to Cutter Leftwich and Dallas Womack going over to Kentucky, man, and building up their law firm. And to me, that's the biggest honor, man. Guys amongst our staff going on to do bigger and better things. But I think we did a phenomenal job of acquiring some great people, like you said. Coach Cav is back. We got him back from up the street, right? He's back here giving us that OG wisdom. He's phenomenal in everything he does. And then was able to bring on Justin Haran, who played with me at Wake Forest, played 7 years in the NFL as offensive tackle. And then a former alum in George Moore, who played here as well with some of the glory days here the last few years, played 5 years in the NFL, and now he's back joining. And for us, I think that, one, the familiarity with George, somebody who played in this place and knows what the culture and the standard is like when we were playing offensive line play at a very high level. I think that's really great for our young guys to see a guy like Justin who's played in the NFL at a high level, for those guys to learn some ins and outs, and knowing both of those guys know our techniques and fundamentals and the way we talk. And then obviously Coach Cav was here at the beginning of this thing as well, so to get him back, it's great to have, once again, everybody doesn't do what we do as far as the amount of people we have, man. So our growth and our growth from our unit is a tribute to all those guys, truly.
You talked about Bennett's physical game, but when you get a guy coming from Yale, I think we all go like, oh, he must be real smart.
Yeah.
Where does that show up for you guys?
I think that's clear because, like a portal guy, he spent 3 to 4 years at a previous place knowing that system, knowing that communication, knowing all the ins and outs of their offense, and he's trying to learn a new one right now. So when he's that smart, he has that kind of brain power. We say jokingly, like he got a lot of brain power. He's able to manufacture and maneuver. Okay, that's what that meant here. That's what this means here. And he's able to help relate that to our young guys as well, because he's learning right now, but he's got to the point where he knows most of our offense. He's now able to reiterate it to our young guys that's playing next to him and all that kind of stuff. He's been a phenomenal leader so far.
You're mentioning the importance of positional flexibility and stuff like that on the line and the versatility there. But just can you speak a little bit about the importance of the versatility in terms of scheme fit for your guys? And when you guys run such a pro-style offense, and especially in the run game, being able to do gap scheme stuff and outside zone stuff like that, just what's the importance of that versatility that those guys have?
I mean, it's pivotal to our success. And you talk about versatility, we want our guards, tackles, and centers all to pull in our system. We're going to do a ton of stuff from a zone scheme, like you said, gap scheme, pin and pull. We're going to allow to put our big athletes out there and beat up on little people every opportunity we get. So, like you said, having an understanding of what it's like to play in space, having an understanding of what it's like to where there's a difference between blocking down on Amari and blocking out in space versus Brandon Finney, right? So having those guys getting to be able to truly learn and understand the aspect of, okay, how different it is inside the box with outside the box. That's two different completely worlds. So our guys being able to play multiple positions and get a little taste of it in practice rather than the first time being in a game, I think that's a credit to our versatility and the way we practice and the way practice is structured.
Talk about Fox getting that starting experience last year. How valuable do you think that was for him, and what do you think he learned from that and has been able to grow from that?
I say it jokingly all the time, the best teacher in the world is the game. Right? There's a lot of things we say as coaches of, hey, make sure you focus on this, make sure you focus on that. And then when it happens in the game, they're like, oh, okay, that's what we were talking about the whole time. So he's always been prepping at an extreme level. Fox probably is top 3 smartest guys in our room, hands down, like from everybody's position. So I think it just forced him to even hone in even more on the detail, right? He writes down every play. If you see his notebook, he's got one of the most sterile notebooks I've ever seen. He loves this. He really does. So I think that opportunity for him to go out there and make the most of it and have some success, I think he realized his process was working and only allowed him to double down in his process. So it's been really good to see how he's attacked this offseason and it's the spring so far as well.
Yeah, Pancho's obviously had a really productive career for you guys, but what's the next step for him heading into this season as presumably the starting center for you guys?
Be the most dominant lineman in the country, point blank. And I think he's taken full heed of that. Like, it's not even like some people say at this point he's got to be a better leader. He's been a phenomenal leader for the last 2 years. If you at practice, you can hear him and feel his presence. I think now is him honing in on the small stuff, right? He loves this. He's the first person in every single day. He's leading all the young guys. He's doing all the things that's necessary. I think now the last step for him is just every single day putting consistent days together to go be the most dominant lineman in the country because he know he can be. And he's not working like he is working like he is the most dominant lineman in the country. But I think that's the last step for his game because, like you said, it's been consistent football for us for going on 3 years now. So this last one, I know he wants to go put out that physical dominance where everybody knows and respects who's the most dominant, not dominant center, the most dominant lineman in the country. I think he's going to go attack that fully right now.
Coach, I wanted to ask you about Janoris. I think the last time we saw him was that Iowa game. Got hurt and he made the start. Kind of, where is he at in his progression? Kind of, how is he fitting into this whole puzzle?
G-Baby's been attacking rehab like a madman. I think he's itching right now. We call him G-Baby. Sorry about that. Janoris has been attacking like a madman right now. Like, I love to see the focus and intent he has because usually when guys are battling injury, they start to float away a little bit. He's been locked in. He's been in the back helping out young Zaire. He's been locked in next to Pancho, communicating and talking those things because I know he wants to continue at the level he left off at. Like for his first career start to be at Iowa, to be at an away game, to be able to attack going against some of those better Big Ten rushers and to have a solid first outing. I know he wants to build on that confidence. So I know he's itching right now, but he's been doing a phenomenal job with the rehab, phenomenal job of making sure he's getting with Chief, making sure he's getting with that training staff, and just doing extra so he can put himself in position that when he's back out there, he can keep the ball rolling like how he was when he was out there versus Iowa.
Sounds like Tofi has been pretty impressive so far this spring. What can you tell me about him and just how he's kind of ingrained himself in the system so far?
It's early. He's been in college for a month, but it's clear. Like he's gonna help us in some shape, form, or something like most times with linemen, you talk about strength and conditioning being a little bit of the issue of can they catch up. He's physically ready. So now it's our job to just make sure our football game within those trenches, the closer you get to the ball, the faster things happen, a lot more processing happens. So that part you got to make sure he can really handle and understand because obviously defense is going to have much variety. But prepping against our defense every single day is helping him. But he's a guy that loves the game. He came from a great foundation from his high school. He has great football knowledge, and he is a junkie for it. Right? He's swimming at times. He's swimming. Right? Putting him at multiple positions, making him feel the differences between guard, left tackle, right tackle, all that kind of stuff because it's going to eventually slow the game down for him. But up to this point right now in spring, he's been a real bright spot, especially being a young guy. Our young guys that have enrolled early have done really a tremendous job for the first 10 practices of college football ever.
Always heard about team chemistry and playing together multiple years, and we know that the combo at the Q and the center spot's always important. I think this is the first time maybe in the Lanning era that you've had the same quarterback and the same center for going into a second season. How does that group build on that? How does that help you guys? What things does it give you an advantage of?
I mean, if you just hear Dante and Pancho at practice, we basically got 12 coaches because you can just hear how those guys communicate, get guys lined up. We don't run off the field fast enough. Pancho saying, let's go run back, and the whole offense do it again, right? Dante saying, fix your body language. We got to make sure they're holding everybody to a higher standard. And I think our offense we're going to end up flowing at a better rate just because the guys who are running the offense as our point guards, as our point mans, are setting the standard at such a high rate. Everybody's got to follow along. And they maintain that and been disciplined with that.
Talking about the experience that Fox was able to get last year, and not only was he able to get those reps, but he held up really well. I think it was one pressure and close to 100 pass blocking snaps against USC and Indiana. Just how impressed were you by him last year, and just what has that experience done for him on the field specifically this spring?
I mean, we were impressed because more often than not, especially when you watch a guy come from being a literal freshman to now having this opportunity his redshirt sophomore year, you remember what it looked like when he first got here and he saw Mateo and Tatum, and his eyes were like, what in the world is happening right now? And then he goes out there versus USC, who has some good rushers, and he basically blankets them the whole time. But that was the work that was put in for the 24 months prior to that. He's a very confident player. Even when he was playing like those All-American games, you go watch him, he was probably one of the better guys at a lot of those camps. So the thought process and the mental process of the game started to slow down. He was able to go out there and just go play free. And like you said, you could see that in his confidence in his every day now, because after that game, there's a natural worry as lineman, like, am I good enough? There was no more worry for him. He knew he was there because all the work he was doing already, but he hadn't played a game to verify if the work was working. He got in that game and he handled it. He's like, all right, that's what made me say he doubled down in this process even more, and now he's playing like a true confident player. And I think it's going to be so pivotal for us and Dante feeling comfortable with whoever's at tackle. They're confident in themselves as well.
Yeah, that protection and that chemistry that Alik Terry's talking about, always so valuable. And I love that he always says every time it seems like we talk to him, you want the best guys to be able to play different positions. And just look at the last few years along the offensive line. You never know what's going to happen with attrition and players having to move around. Ducks swapped some guys around spots last year, had guys fill in like you referred to Fox Crater. That's what you have to do, especially in the trenches. When we come back, let's talk a little bit with Devin Jackson and Jamari Johnson on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
At Shadow Hills Country Club, we're more than just an award-winning golf course and practice facility. Our events team offers all-inclusive event pricing that allows us to take care of all the details while you enjoy your event. Our indoor and outdoor venues offer you a wide variety of fully staffed options that put the focus on you. From weddings to business and social events, at Shadow Hills Country Club Events Center, you get the benefits of a resort atmosphere and amenities in a peaceful country setting, just minutes from downtown Eugene. Call for a tour today or visit shadowhillsevents.com.
Hey Duck fans, at Country Financial, they make insurance easy. Whether you're shopping for home, auto, or more, their representatives will take the time to understand your specific needs and explain what options work best for you. Worry less and feel more confident knowing you're covered. Visit countryfinancial.com to get started today. Experience more with Country Financial.
Auto and home insurance policies issued by Country Mutual Insurance Company, Country Preferred Insurance Company, and Country Casualty Insurance Company, Bloomington, Illinois.
Don't go anywhere. Duck Insider continues after these messages on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
How serious is youth vaping? Irreversible lung damage serious. 1 in 10 kids vape serious, which warrants a serious conversation from a serious parental figure like yourself. Not the seriously know-it-all sports dad or the seriously smart podcaster. It requires a serious conversation that is best had by you. No, seriously, the best person to talk to your child about vaping is you. To start the conversation, visit talkaboutvaping.org. Brought to you by the American Lung Association and the Ad Council.
And here's Heather with the weather.
Well, it's beautiful out there, sunny and 75, almost a little chilly in the shade. Now, let's get a read on the inside of your car. It is hot. You've only been parked a short time and it's already 99 degrees in there. Let's not leave children in the back seat while running errands. It only takes a few minutes for their body temperatures to rise, and that could be fatal.
Cars get hot, fast, and can be deadly. Never leave a child in a car. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Duck Insider presented by OnPoint Community Credit Union. Jamari Johnson has certainly emerged as a big-time prospect in terms of NFL rankings. And I think he could be a real fun player to watch this year. Just the versatility of the tight end spot. The Ducks continue to have all these great tight ends. Jamari Johnson meeting with the media, getting ready for the spring game coming up on Saturday.
A year ago, you were dealing with injuries during spring practice and kind of getting back into recovery. What's it like this year, just being back in it and kind of being able to focus on fine-tuning your game?
It feels good, coming back. Feels like I got something to prove, For me personally, I feel like I haven't really did anything in college football, so I feel like this year is that year for me to show everybody what I'm about.
Kind of wondering what this offseason has been like for you. Obviously, you spent a lot of time working with Kenyon, but just kind of the leadership perspective is something Dan was talking about, kind of you taking ownership of that room. How have you kind of gone about that? Maybe how has that challenged you a little bit?
It just changed, because obviously Kenyon leaving. Somebody has to step up and be a leader in the room, and me being one of the older guys, it just happens to be me, and I accepted that role, and I kind of like it, getting these young guys going, man, getting them in the playbook and just getting them used to college football. So it's been fun.
What can you tell us about Kendra and Andrew? We don't know much about them yet. We haven't talked to them. What have your early impressions been of them so far?
Both good dudes, man. They both got that dog in them. Andrew, he came from Penn State. He's been coming along good, getting in the playbook. Kendra, he's a big, tall guy, getting in the playbook too. They've been getting after it, man. So it's been good taking them under my wing. So hopefully we just get going this year, man, get them guys going.
Curious on just your thoughts coming out of the scrimmage and maybe some kind of expectations or goals for your room for the spring game next week.
Um, Expectations and goals. I'll say one expectation that we really try to harp on in the room is just going 100%. That's with your effort. That's with knowing the plays. That's with anything really. Just going out there and just giving it your all. And a goal is just getting that end zone, man. That's one of the goals for the tight end room right there.
Yeah, looking back on last year, maybe what are some of the best things you learned from playing with Kenyon last year?
So many, but one is training. Everybody in this facility harps on it, and it's just a standard here. So it's like him from last year. That man strained his guts out almost every play, and I just feel like I gotta do the exact same thing or even more to uphold the standard.
Last year, your position coach Drew was saying you're in a position to be maybe tight end one this spring in this season. When the year was over, what was the conversations like for your future here? Because you had NFL possibilities if you wanted them there. What was that process like, and why did you come back to? What were the things to get better at?
Like I said earlier, to me, I feel like I haven't really did anything in college football, so that was one of the reasons. And another is, I wouldn't say I'm not ready for the NFL, but like that's pretty much what I'm getting at. Is just like I have a lot of stuff to work on. That's within footwork and hand placement, block in the run game, and route details, getting to the right depth, and just touching up everything I can. So when I get to the NFL, there's none of those problems, those little problems. It's just the big problems that I have to fix.
Just what does that mean that you feel like you? Well, what do you have to do to feel like you've done something in college football?
It's just I just keep saying that because in my head, I just feel like a lot of guys go off based off stats and stuff like that. But like for a tight end, it's really different because we don't get all of those catches and all of those touches. So it's just really everything technique wise is what I'm saying. So that I feel like everything I need to do technique wise to get to the next level, that's gonna happen this year.
You essentially became a starter over the second half of the season when the receivers started going down. Just what did those reps do for you? And not only just getting those reps, but the variety of things you had to do within the offense, because to make up for the receivers being away, just what has that experience done for you this spring as you head towards, being the starter this year?
It really helped me. Last year we were in a lot of 12 personnel at the end of the season because we had a couple injuries and stuff like that, but that really helped me. This year I feel like I'm coming in rolling off the ground, just so it's just so much more fluent, and those reps really help me with the playbook. Playbook is way easier now, and I'm getting a good feel for it.
Going back to the topic of leadership, you mentioned how you're one of the veterans of the team, so the leadership sort of falls on your shoulders. How would you describe your leadership traits? What are you, more of a vocal leader, or sort of just do sort of as you do?
I would say I'm both. I don't really vocal. Nah, I'll really say I like to I don't know. I like to get the guys going. I have a real a voice on the field. Now, if y'all hear me on the field, I get the guys going. So I wouldn't say I'm a vocal leader, but I feel like I lead by example. Making plays and stuff like that. But vocal leader, probably something I need to work on.
Curious on what it's been like seeing Coach Maringer take over kind of the whole offense, and maybe what are your expectations for what this will look like, and maybe how collaborative has that process been?
It's been great. It's been different. They're two different people, Coach Stein and Coach Drew. But my guy's getting us going, man. I'm excited for this season.
You're one of the many guys yesterday out at Hayward supporting Decorian. What was it kind of like just seeing that connection that Dan Lanning preaches so much, just that like taking place outside of football?
Yeah, that yesterday that touched my heart, man. Just all of us going out there. And it wasn't even just for Corey. It was really for Oregon, but it was just more for Corey because we see him every day, So that really touched my heart, and the connection that's just unbelievable. I don't think many other teams are doing that for their teammates.
Coaches have talked about how Dante Moore's essentially now another quarterback on the field. His command of the offense has really grown. Where have you seen that from him this spring, and the growth from compared to when you arrived last year?
It's been, man, that guy has his head on his shoulders at all times. So he's been growing consistently, but it's a couple of different things. I probably can't name them right now, but it's just his head is just on, man. He's just a guy. Like it's not really like much I can say about him. I'm not gonna say perfect, but I'm getting there. But he's my guy, man. He's been having his head on his shoulders. He's just been on the climb.
Big season ahead for Jamari Johnson. Timeout. We're going to come back, finish it up talking linebackers with Devin Jackson. Stick with us on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
As a local community credit union founded by teachers, OnPoint is committed to supporting the students and faculty at the University of Oregon. And on game day, we're right there with you, on the field, in the bleachers, and in the classrooms. Drop by one of your local branches today and discover the many ways OnPoint can help support your financial well-being. OnPoint Community Credit Union. People are the point. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal housing opportunity.
We know you turn to the Duck Store for all your game day needs. And for students at the University of Oregon, it's even more. Class supplies, jobs, a seat on our board, a place to take a quick coffee break. Because we're your student-first, non-profit college store, every purchase you make directly supports the very community we serve. From working in our counters to studying in the classroom, from directing our stores to cheering in the stands, the people we serve, the students, are the very people who are the Duck Store.
Duck Insider, your home for the latest news on Oregon athletics on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
You took the first step and quit smoking, but even former smokers may still be at risk for lung cancer. That's why SaveByTheScan.org wants you to know about a new low-dose CT scan that can detect lung cancer early. It takes only 60 seconds and could save your life. You took the first step, now take the next. Visit SaveByTheScan.org for a simple quiz to see if you're eligible and talk to your doctor about screening. SaveByTheScan.org is brought to you by the American Lung Association's Lung Force Initiative and the Ad Council.
In sitcoms, when someone has a problem, they just blurt it out and move on.
Well, I lost my job and my parakeet is missing. How was your day?
But the real world is different. Managing life's challenges can be overwhelming. So, what do? We get support. The Huntsman Mental Health Institute and the Ad Council have mental health resources available for you at loveyourmindtoday.org. That's loveyourmindtoday.org. See how much further you can go when you take care of your mental health.
Spring game coming up on Saturday, a 1 o'clock start. We'll have our broadcast beginning at 1 o'clock as well across the Oregon Sports Network. Jerry, Jorgie, Dusty, myself running around at Autzen Stadium. Devin Jackson does a lot of running. There's been a lot of discussion about how fast Devin Jackson is. We asked him in the studio, are you faster than XYZ over the course of last fall? It was fun. And I think he will tell you that he's developed into really a big leader for this team. Devin Jackson talking linebackers.
I don't know if you know this, but you were one of 3 people on this team that's still here from Lanning's first recruiting class in Oregon. You, Dave, and Kavika. What does that mean to you?
Zach Grisham.
Oh, Grisham too. Thank
4.
you. What does that mean to you to be one of the true vets on this team and kind of just haven't been here the whole time?
It means a lot, for sure. I think it's shout out to us 4 to stick it out when we live in a society where I think it's easier just to leave for whatever the reason may be, but for us to stick it out, 5 years. But I think it speaks on our character and it speaks on the culture, like why we want to stick it out.
Coach Michalowski was just talking about kind of your urgency this year being your last year. Can you speak with the mindset maybe you're approaching everything with, and maybe not if it's different than the past, but just kind of what this means to you right now?
I mean, it's do or die, like it's my last one. There's nothing left to hold back. Like if I don't make it happen this year, then I'm gonna just be a regular guy. And I feel like I'm too talented to be that. I feel like I still got a lot of football left in my life to just like let it go in a year. But I'll worry about that later. So like every day my emphasis has been is just like be where your feet are and like treat every day as like it's your last. Because I know like this time last year I couldn't really do it because of
whatever the case may be. But I'm here now, and I feel great. I'm playing great, and, you know, y'all about to go see the result of it.
With a good amount of change, especially Bryce heading out, just what have you seen from the room this year? How do you, as somebody who's been here for a while, how do you help new guys become kind of fluent in the language of being a linebacker at Oregon?
I mean, I feel like our room is honestly didn't really change that much. Like, yeah, Bryce left, but Jerry's been here for 4 years. I've been here for 5, and guys have been in the system 2-3 years. Like, Dylan Williams has been in the system 3 years. Like, Braden Platt's been in the system for 3 years. This is Gavin Nix's 3rd year. Like, even somebody like Will Stratton, who's, like, big piece of our room, like, he's been here for 3-4 years. Like, we really not that young as people may think. Like, we've been here for a while. It's just now it's time for new faces to rise to the top.
Coach Michalowski was also just talking about the impact of you being fully healthy this spring. Just what has that done for you mentally in terms of just the way you approach this spring and knowing that you're going to have that time to build up and kind of get ready for the fall?
It's just, like I said, the emphasis for me is just treat every day like it's my last. And really big emphasis for me is just be as violent as I can be. Like, I think there was times last year where I wasn't, for whatever the case may be, but now got to apply that to be the most violent person I can be every day, and there's no other option.
You've long been known as one of the fastest players on the team. I'm curious, with Gatlin now here, what some of those sprinting competitions are like?
They've been interesting. We always, you know, everybody wants to be the fastest, you know, whether it's him or Evan or Corian, and, like, I think that brings competition, though, to, like, that's different from every other school. Like, how often is one of your linebackers competing for the fastest person on the team? But I think it all makes it stronger. So, for sure.
Michalowski was talking about how you were leading the team in, I think, knock-em-back plays in practice. And you mentioned a second kind of that violence that you wanted to play with. Was that something you observed maybe last year that was maybe not quite where it needed to be? And kind of what's been the process of just stepping up, I guess, that aggression every practice?
I think, like I said, the big emphasis for me is just I got to make the choice to be violent every single day. Like, truthfully, as a linebacker, like, you can know everything and point out things, but if you can't be violent at linebacker, your defense is only going to go so far. So for me,
good stuff from Devin Jackson. Tell you what, hearing the experience compared to where he was as a freshman, it's so cool to see that development from a guy like Devin Jackson. Hey, big news. Jerry and Jorgie will be here tomorrow. NFL Draft Spring Game Preview. We'll see you then.
Snakes, zombies, sharks, heights, speaking in public. The list of fears is endless. But while you're clutching your blanket in the dark, wondering if that sound in the hall was actually a footstep,